means you're not in the right direction. Please, just move. Everybody move a couple of steps here. Come on. You can do that. Come on. Yeah. Okay, we are going to start soon. We need to start to chant. And I want everybody from the back here come to the front here. We still have space in the steps, please. Please, everybody move here. Yes. The flag, can you please come here? Please. Yeah, we're going to start very soon. We're going to start very soon. Hello. Testing. Thank you, brothers and sisters. I know some of you travel long. Can you please migrate to this side so that we can all get together? Because
it's been there. Yeah.
all right, we're going to start by chanting. We do different languages. So we do the English, we do the Cantonese, and we do the Mandarin, okay? And I'm going to lead the first chant. You need to try your very best to scream and yell as loud as you can. Let's testing it. See how good you are. Are you waking up? When I say hi, you say hi to me first. Hi! Hi! I can't hear you. Hi! Hi! Our goal is to send a message back to China. They can hear it, okay? Yeah. All right. Let's do the Mandarin first. 放人，放人，放人，放人，放人，放人，放人，放人，放人，放人。We're going to do the English release protester. Okay, release protester. Release protesters! Release protesters! Release protester! Release protester! Release protester! Release protester! Release protesters! Release protesters! And then I'm going to... Anybody can speak Cantonese? Woo! Okay, only one. So we'll try. Help me out. Help me out. 要自由，要民主。Okay? 要自由。要自由。要民主。要民主。要自由。要自由。要民主。要民主。I'm going to do the Mandarin. 要自由。要自由。要自由。要自由。Louder. 要自由。要自由。要民主。要民主。要民主。要民主。I'm going to do the English with the genocide. We have a lot of brothers and sisters from Xinjiang, and we, the Uyghurs groups are here. We need to support them and support all our Chinese brothers and sisters and the people from Hong Kong and everywhere. Stop the genocide. Okay, we're going to do the stop the genocide. Okay, ready? Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! Of course, the whole movement is based on abolish COVID-0. We hope they stop the COVID-0 policy. That's stupid, draconian law. Abolish COVID-0. You can do that. You can do it as loud as you can. Help me out. Even the audience or anybody bystanders, help me out. 自由，无零死。不自由，不自由，不自由，不自由，无零死，无零死，无零死，无零死。Okay, I'm going to pass the mic to our Master of Ceremony and organizer here today.
Hello everyone, can you hear me okay? So thank you so much everyone for coming out today. It is truly an honor to be with everyone amongst this solidarity, this cross-movement solidarity, and this energy. I'm Tella, I am a student activist. I'm a student at NYU and an activist with Students for a Free Tibet. And these are my fellow MCs, Jimmy, who is a Chinese student from Columbia University, and Alex, who is a Hong Konger student at NYU. So recently we have, clap for them both. So recently we have seen China's zero COVID policy show a light on their long-held oppressive tactics and catalyzed a wave of protests across mainland China. But these calls for basic human rights and freedoms have been met with China's brutal iron fist. But the truth is that many communities occupied under Chinese government's oppressive rule, from Tibetans to Uyghurs to Hong Kongers, have been fighting this fight for decades. We've developed a wealth of direct action tactics and invaluable community through the struggle. And now we are at a pivotal moment in history where we have the kind of momentum and community that can truly topple regimes. The sheer amount of people we've seen mobilize, both under Chinese rule and in exile, is a testament to our power, our will, and ultimately our capacity for change. So today we wanted to offer and build this space to stand in solidarity with those who are and have long been suffering in the pursuit of freedoms under the Chinese government's authoritarian rule. Now, just for some general housekeeping, of course, as a cross-movement space, we do not welcome discrimination of any kind, so please be respectful of the various experiences we all bring to the table. If you should face any problems, please approach anyone in a reflective vest like the ones we were wearing. They will answer any questions or concerns, whether it be safety or if media is looking for a point person, they can direct you in the right direction. And on that note, anyone working in media, please head over to a marshal, again, those in the reflective vests, and they will point you to the appropriate media person. And on that note, I will pass it off to Jimmy.
Thank you, Stella.
声音能不能再大一点？再最大了。
我可以讲大声一点
No,
，OK。
no, no. Let's put the no. Let's have the other one.
OK。好大家好，我是 Jimmy， 一位来自哥大的中国留学生。然后我身边共同主持的朋友是来自纽约大学的香港学生 Alex， 还有刚才讲话的也是来自纽约大学的 Zella 也是自由西藏学生这个组织的一员。我们想用开场的时间来欢迎所有来到今天集会现场的朋友们，特别是因为近期的事件而刚刚开始接触和参与社会运动的朋友们。那么在场的大家可能有不同的身份、不同的观念和诉求，大家关注的议题可能是维吾尔人和藏人的处境，可能是工人的权益，可能是女权和 LGBTQ 运动，也可能是香港的抗争。但重要的是，我们今天因为同样反对当今中共政权的种种作为和压迫而团结汇聚在这里。作为主持人，我们也呼吁大家在今天的集会中尊重彼此，倾听彼此，相互学习，去努力共同搭建一个安全的民主的社群空间，不使用歧视性的语言，不使用言语和肢体的暴力。大家可能也都有注意到，近一周内中国的清零政策和舆论风向都在发生改变，许多地区开始不同程度的解封。我们想强调，这些改变是许多的抗争者的共同努力赢得的，而不是国家政权的恩赐。我们要记住这些勇敢的抗争者，他们很多人还处在被逮捕、被消失的状态。我们也相信，即使在解封之后，也还会有很多的社会议题需要我们去持续的发声， 因此，重要的并不是一个短期内的结果，而是在这个政治的参与过程中，逐渐去培养我们自己的社群，看到我们自己的力量。最后，我们想提醒大家留意身边这些我们身边这些穿着反光背心的志愿者们。如果大家感到身体不舒服，需要医疗帮助，或者他人言语或者行为令你感到不安全，或者媒体的朋友需要去接触可以报道的人的话，都可以向我们的志愿者求助。也在这里感谢我们的志愿者们。然后现在我把话筒给 Alex。
喂。喂 ，hello， 大家好，聽唔聽到？Sorry， 成日都有呢啲問題㗎啦。Hello， 大家好，我係 Alex， 我而家喺紐約大學做緊學生，咁我係香港嚟嘅。喂 ，OK， 聽唔聽到 ？You know what？
Just give up.
放棄啦，唔得，呢度唔可以放棄。Hello， 大家好，我係 Alex。如果你熟悉我嘅話咧，你都知道我廣東話好爛㗎啦。但係我哋今日我哋3位都係為咗我哋一齊分享呢度嘅時間同埋呢度嘅地方，咁樣一齊合作下啦，用翻英文啊、中文同埋廣東話都一齊幫啲朋友明白我哋今日嚟嘅意思同埋等等嘅各類啦。咁我諗我哋大家都知道，我哋反咗中共已經反咗好撚耐啦，但係我哋呢度係同大家一齊結合一齊，由啲中國學生啊，由西藏嘅學生，由我唔好講新疆啦都維吾爾人一齊合作等等類型。咁我哋今日會聽好多唔同嘅人嘅發言啦，同埋想大家明白我哋今次嚟嘅係合作，想同大家一齊身份上喺度學翻，我哋可以學翻嘅唔同嘅經驗等等。我哋喺度有好多人着住呢啲咁樣嘅黃色嘅衣。我想大家留意翻，如果你有啲咩問題，如果身體覺得有啲咩唔舒服，或者有警察喺度搞嘢啊，或者有其他人喺度搞嘢，唔該請揾翻我哋其中一個。如果有啲咩記者啊等等想同你採訪，然之後你唔覺得舒服嘅話，咁樣請 also 都揾翻我哋其中一個，咁我哋幫手再指翻一個可以同人傾偈嘅人。咁係咁多先啦，咁我就今日已經係盡量㗎啦，太忙啦，冇寫出太多嘢。咁好啦，好開心可以見到大家人一齊喺度集中，咁睇下我哋今日嘅情況繼續點。Let's go.
Alright, so up first we have Turdi, who is a Uyghur community member representing Free Uyghurs Now.
好，现在我们请维吾尔的活动家发言。
Okay, my name is Turdi. I'm an Uyghur. Okay, that fire happened on Thanksgiving Day in Urumqi. 10 people died, and most of them women and the children of Uyghur descent. So I'm glad that this bad event actually served as spark plug for the protests against the COVID restrictions in China. But as most of you know, Uyghurs not only have been facing the COVID restrictions and also starvation in the past 12 months because of the draconian measure against COVID, we also have been facing genocide, which is recognized crimes against humanity by the United Nations. And also at the same time, we've been facing the silence of the world, even though this thing has been happening for almost 6 years. And I got all this news, the news of the fire from social media, just like the rest of you, because Uyghurs cannot communicate with the people back home. I haven't communicated with my family since March 2017. They disconnected the internet, and also phone. We just couldn't connect with our families, even though all the genocide, all that news coming out. I was never able to talk to my family. I don't know if they are safe or not because of the reason. Some Uyghurs, young Uyghurs, they're able to communicate with the families back home because they have WeChat, but I never used WeChat. If you don't have WeChat, you can't talk to your family, so I have no idea. So my hope is, as long as a dictatorship, a brutal dictatorship in power, it's a matter of time before you become the next victim. So I hope people don't forget that as long as China, the Communist Party is in place, in power, today, if they keep the silence in the face of a genocide against Uyghurs, they will be the next. So I have to say this because this is the truth. Even though this genocide has been taking place for 6 years, we haven't seen a solidarity from the greater community from China. And I am not saying they have a power, they have a way, avenue to talk about it inside China, but at least we hope a greater involvement of the Chinese community outside of the border of China, because this is not acceptable. We're supposed to be neighbors in China, inside Xinjiang, but the huge violence against one ethnic group is happening, and then the remaining population kept silent. That's not acceptable anywhere. I hope the people gradually wake up to the reality that as long as the Communist Party is in place, everybody will become the victim. Because the Communist Party has only one script they've been playing all along for the past 17 years. When they don't have the leverage, when they don't have the power, they play nice. They say, oh, be nice, play by the rule, all that stuff. They did the same thing to Uyghurs, and then they did the Tibetans. They said, well, you will get the autonomy, and if you want, you can become independent anytime. That was in 1949 when they first came, because they didn't have enough power to suppress uprising if the Uyghurs say no, because there were not many ethnic groups in the Xinjiang, and the army is really hard. They didn't have many people there to fight the uprising. So they said, okay, you're nice, we can just try, and if it doesn't work out, you can always claim independence. It's in the constitution of the Communist Party they established in 1944. But as you all know, once they came into power, once they become stronger, they brutally suppressing Uyghurs. They've been exploiting the Uyghur people for the past 70 years. And same thing happened in Tibet. They played nice when they didn't have enough leverage. Once they get into Tibet, and once they become powerful, and then they use the same brutality against the Tibetans. And then against, like 40, 50 years later, the same place, same script played in Hong Kong. They were relatively nice in the beginning because they didn't have the leverage. Once they accumulated enough power, they used the same brutality against people in Hong Kong. Now they want to do the same thing in Taiwan. Not only good around groups in the Taiwan, Hong Kong, around China, this script China will apply to the greater world. Because in the past 20 years, China has been playing nice, everything, okay, we're playing by the rule of the international community, because they wanted to accumulate power. They want to accumulate economic, technological, military power by playing nice. And then finally they had now enough power, and then they start to show a little bit of the true face. Now the world start to see China's true face a little bit, but that's only the beginning. Once China becomes really superpower, really enough power, they will apply the same script to the greater community, world community. So it's time to wake up. The dictatorship needs to end, otherwise everybody becomes victim, because Xi Jinping, CCP, bringing China in the collision course with the world, that might start a war which is the disaster not only to the Chinese people, everybody in the world. So the CCP has to go, has to end. Everybody deserves freedom, Chinese, Uyghur, Tibetan, everybody in the world. We are all humans. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Alex.
Thank you. 朋友们，你们都看见了吗？大巴翻车的是我，伤兵军斩的是我，徒步白领的是我，崩溃跳楼的是我，火灾被困的是我。如果这些都不是我，那么接下来就是我。呀！
允许公开悼念，
允许公开悼念，
允许公开悼念，
结束清零政策，
结束清零政策，
结束清零政策，
结束清零政策，
结束清零政策，
结束清零政策，
释放少数民族，
释放少数民族，释放少数民族，释放少数民族，
保障人民权利和自由，保障人民权利自由，
保障人民权利自由，
保障人民权利自由，
保障人民权利自由，
保障人民权利自由，
保障人民权利自由。End the lockdown!
End the lockdown!
End the lockdown!
End the lockdown,
End the cultural revolution!
end the cultural revolution,
End the cultural revolution!
end the cultural revolution.
Give me freedom, give me death!
Give me free or give me death.
Give me freedom or give me death!
Give me free or give me death.
Free the protesters!
Free the protesters.
Free the protesters!
Free the protesters.
When Uyghur laws are under attack, what do we do?
Stand and fight back.
When Uyghur laws are under attack, what do we do?
Stand and fight back.
When Hong Kong's laws are under attack, what do we do?
Stand and fight back.
When Tibetan laws are under attack, what do we do?
Stand and fight back.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, occupation has got to go.
Hey, ho, ho.
Occupation has got to go!
Hey, hey, ho, ho, the occupation has got to go.
Hey, ho, ho. The occupation has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, the occupation has got to go.
Hey, ho, ho. The occupation has got to go. Hey,
Ho, ho,
the occupation has got to go. Hey, ho, ho. The occupation has got to go.
what do we want?
Freedom.
What do we want?
Freedom.
What do we want? When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
what do we want?
Freedom.
What do we want?
Freedom.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
All right, thank you for those empowering chants. We're certainly making our voices heard. And up next, we have Zhou Fengshuo, who's representing humanitarian China.
下一位发言者是周公所89年学生运动的一位领袖，大家欢迎他。
Thank you all for coming today. We are here for freedom. I was a survivor of Tiananmen massacre. I'm glad to say today the torch of freedom is picked up by the younger generations. Thank you. I see a future of free China from you. That is a good thing for China and for the world. We are here because weavers died burning in their own family. We are here because the weavers, over 1 million of them, in concentration camps. We are here because Tibetan people burned themselves for free Tibet. We are here because Hong Kong freedom is gone. Because communist China, we have to fight. We have to fight now. We will end CCP. CCP step down. CCP step down. 打倒共产党！打倒共产党！打倒共产党！打倒共产党！打倒习近平！打倒习近平！自由属于人民！自由属于人民！ We are here because this great hero on October 13. He staged a spectacular protest in Beijing on Situng Bridge. We don't know where he is. We want to know. We want him to be released. Free Ponglifa! Free Ponglifa! Free Ponglifa now! Free Ponglifa now! We are here because a female student in Nanjing, she held a blank piece of paper. The paper was taken away, but she was standing there firm. Because of her, many people awakened to the call of freedom. Where is she? We don't know. We love her. We admire her. We want to know where she is. We want her to be free.
女性自由，
女性自由，
发表自由。
自由表达是人民的权利。
谢谢。
不可剥夺。33年前，从我们到天安门广场最早的时候，这个要求就是要新闻自由，要自由表达的权利。这也是中共专制统治者最害怕的，人民的声音。这就是为什么他们最近不得不部分放宽了所谓清零政策。这是少有的一个胜利，但是我们看到这个胜利来自不易。他们所怕的是打倒共产党、打倒习近平的声音，在上海的街头响起，在共产党诞生的地方响起，因为这是人民的声音，这是正义的声音。我作为一个清华的学生，我特别自豪。就是在清华，在我当年抗议的地方，有一个清华的女生，再一次举起白纸，然后几百人和她聚集在一起，他们高喊：“我们要自由，要民主，要法治。” I am proud of the Tsinghua student who stood up with a piece of paper. A sign for freedom, and hundreds of Tsinghua students stood in solidarity with her. This was my alma mater. This is the first time in last 3 years that I am proud of a Tsinghua student. This is important because this is the most brainwashed and protected university in China. This is supposedly where Xi Jinping studied years ago.
What a shame.
Right.
Shame.
He pronounced every Chinese character wrong.
小学博士。
Okay. Thank you. I agree with you. 现在所在进行的是一场革命。尽管在中国，很多人被捕，很多人在面临酷刑，很多人的声音我们听不到，但是我们知道，正义的声音是挡不住的，自由是不可压制的，因为它是上帝给我们的权利，它在我们每个人心里。更重要的是，在海外几千个大学看到年轻一代的崛起，他们走上街头行动起来，他们用勇气争得了自己的尊严，这是一个历史性的改变，他们在成为自己的主人。By protesting, thousands of students, this younger generation, have gained their freedom, their dignity. This is the most important change. Thank you.
Yay, thank you.
Free China!
Free China!
自由属于人民。自由属于人民。Thank you.
Okay, guys, we're gonna liven up a bit, so I'm gonna say a couple of chants, and I want you to say them after me, okay? Okay. So we're gonna start with end COVID lockdown.
End COVID lockdown!
End COVID lockdown.
End COVID lockdown!
End COVID lockdown.
End COVID lockdown!
End COVID lockdown.
End COVID lockdown!
End COVID lockdown.
End COVID lockdown!
Hey, ho ho! Xi Jinping has got to go.
Hey! Ho ho! Xi Jinping has got to go! Ho ho! Xi Jinping has got to go!
Hey, let's go. Hey, hey.
Ho ho! Xi Jinping has got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! Xi Jinping has got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! Xi Jinping has got to go! Ho ho! Xi Jinping has got to go!
Next we're gonna say free Chinese protesters.
Free Chinese protesters!
Free China.
Free China!
Free China.
Free China!
Free China.
Free China!
Free Hong Kong.
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong.
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong.
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong.
Free Hong Kong!
Free Tibet.
Free Tibet!
Free Tibet.
Free Tibet!
Free Tibet.
Free Tibet!
Free East Turkestan.
Free East Turkestan!
Free East Turkestan.
Free East Turkestan!
Free East Turkestan.
Free East Turkestan!
Free Uyghurs.
Free Uyghurs!
Free Uyghurs.
Free Uyghurs!
Stop Uyghur genocide.
Stop Uyghur genocide!
Stop Uyghur genocide.
Stop Uyghur genocide!
Stop Uyghur genocide.
Stop Uyghur
I
genocide!
want you to chant like you mean it. Stop Uyghur genocide.
Stop Uyghur genocide!
Stop Uyghur genocide.
Stop Uyghur genocide!
Close the camps.
Close the camps!
Close the camps.
Close the camps!
Close the camps.
Close the camps!
Thank you, everyone.
So now we'll be proceeding to Jesse from Socialist Alternative, who will be talking a little bit more about the global relevance of these protests.
现在发言是本地左翼组织 Socialist Alternative 的 Jesse， 他会讨论就是国际主义联结的重要性，大家欢迎。
Right, Jesse, right here. Jesse, right here. Jesse,
Hi,
am I facing
my
up here?
Yeah,
Camera's
sure.
here, yeah.
Hello. Hi, my name is Jessie, and I'm a member of Socialist Alternative here in New York City, but more broadly, I'm a member of International Socialist Alternative. We have members in over 30 countries, among those being China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Our members there have been operating underground, producing a magazine that we have available in Chinese that is hugely popular among young people across the region. They've been boots to the ground at the protests over the past week, talking to students and working people about how the demands they're calling for are so critical, but can't be won by reforming the CCP, that this is ultimately a matter of overthrowing the dictatorship. This may be happening on the other side of the world, but a win for working and oppressed people in China would be a win for working and oppressed people everywhere, setting a precedent and energizing mass movements like we're seeing now. But that's enough for me. Here are some words that came straight from our members, one of our members in China. People from Urumqi to Shanghai, from universities to factories, have over the last week braved the world's most technologically advanced dictatorship to call for the fall of Xi Jinping. These protests have forever changed China. Despite the repression and censorship, everyone can feel the mass anger towards the dictatorship. People protesting in the streets of Shanghai shouted the slogans, "Down with Xi Jinping" and "Down with the CCP." This cannot be taken back. This has been the first nationwide protest movement and challenge to the dictatorship since 1989, and we're seeing a revolt that is composed of both young people and workers, both Han and ethnic minorities. Zero COVID lockdowns resembling martial law have meant unspeakable suffering for ordinary people. Lost wages, lost jobs, poverty, mental illness, lack of food and medicine. The fire in Urumqi, which killed at least 10 Uyghurs, was the spark of a mass revolt, but it has grown from there, to the point that we're seeing protesters in Shanghai chanting those things. These protests have gone beyond protesting zero COVID, and have developed into political demands for democratic rights, freedom of speech, and the end of a dictatorship. In an instant, the decades of racist and nationalist propaganda have been swept aside by the united struggle of working class people. The CCP has responded with its usual tactics. Police are on the streets everywhere, protesters are receiving phone and house calls, warning them to stop any activity, and the regime has announced an emergency level of censorship. There have also been apparent policy changes to diffuse the tension, including the relaxing of zero COVID measures. This creates a false sense of a win, but these concessions will not last forever and are superficial. The dictatorship is a regime in crisis. It has no long-term plan on how to deal with COVID. In one day, it races to remove zero COVID because it's absolutely panicking over the protests that are happening. But the next, they'll be dealing with the biggest outbreak of COVID on the planet. This is because the healthcare system has been continuously privatized and underfunded. They still refuse to lift the ban on foreign mRNA vaccines due to the CCP's racist nationalism. We need democratic control over our lives, over the healthcare system, over the economy as a whole, and not the chaos and crisis of the billionaire Xi dictatorship. It's too soon to tell if this repression will stop the movement, but even if it does, it will only be temporary. The anger is too deep, and the call for freedom that has flooded the streets cannot be bottled away by police terror. The only way people can bring down the dictatorship is if working people and the full working class have organization, independent and democratic workers and student unions, underground grassroots committees. These are the structures we need to sustain the movement and mobilize millions of people. The CCP system can only survive when we are forced to work with it. Without the working class, not a single wheel turns, not a phone rings, not a light bulb shines. Through the actions of millions to strike and demonstrate, we can win the freedom of speech to organize, strike, and vote. We know the dictatorship will never give us that. It cannot if the regime wants to survive. We know the struggle needs organization. A successful struggle needs unions and it needs revolutionary parties. That's the lesson from all democratic revolutions. We want democracy, we want feminism, and this means we want genuine socialism. If you're interested in these ideas, you can read more about them in our banned underground magazine, The Socialist, which is available in Chinese right over there.
American neoliberal.
Solidarity with Chinese youth and workers.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for those words, Jessie. So just a note, for those who have recently arrived is that firstly, if you have any questions, any concerns whatsoever, please come to somebody in a reflective vest. These are our volunteer marshals who will direct you either to safety or to a media person, whatever the inquiry may be. And secondly, again, I really want to cement that this is a cross-movement solidarity space, so please let's accept all experiences and welcome everyone in this space. We're going to move into a bit of chanting now, so I really want to hear your voices.
我们想提醒刚刚来的朋友，我们想提醒刚刚加入集会的朋友，就是希望大家不要使用歧视性的语言，然后尊重大家不同的经验和观念，然后还有就是，如果大家有任何的问题或者身体或者感到不安全的地方，可以找我们穿着反光背心的志愿者。然后现在我们会再喊一轮口号，希望大家加油。
Up next, we have Tokcho Tsuchim, who is a grassroots youth activist with Students for a Free Tibet.
下面欢迎自由西大学生的行动者来发言。
Can you hear me? I've been crying a lot this week. I cried a lot trying to write this. But I blinked away my tears, and my friends wiped my cheeks, and through my bloodshot eyes, I looked out and saw a sea. A sea of white A4 papers, a sea of determined souls, impassioned air, kind eyes. I look out and see slogans, some that I've seen as soon as my eyes could see, heard as soon as my ears could hear. Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Stop the genocide in Tibet! Stop the genocide in Tibet! I look out and I see some that have grown more and more familiar upon my tongue in recent years. Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free East Turkestan! Free East Turkestan! Keep Taiwan free! Keep Taiwan free! But, and sweetest of them all, I open my heart and I lean in, and among the din and roar of these crashing waves, there are some I hear coursing through the air for the very first time. 不自由，无宁死。不自由，无宁死。习近平下台。习近平下台。What you hear, this that you hear, this is a tidal change. And as unimaginable as it may seem, like oceans rise inevitably, so too do empires fall. Starting in 1949, Tibet was colonized, brutalized by the CCP as they pursued their imperial aims of territorial conquest and resource extraction. That was my grandparents' generation. They fought to survive the howling, icy winds, whipping as they crossed barefooted the Himalayas to seek refuge in Nepal or India as the People's Liberation Army, hot on their heels, sought to stain the white snow of our sacred mountains red with our blood. My parents' generation fought to make a new life for themselves, born in destitution, scattered, stateless in refugee camps, with no nation willing to claim them as their own. How lucky we are. In my throat, the freedom of speech. In my heart, the freedom of expression. In my mind, the freedom of thought. We can do what our ancestors could only dream of. And for that very reason, it is our duty to do so. Former U.S. Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis once referred to the individual states of America as laboratories of democracy. Since the occupation of 1959, the CCP has used Tibet as a laboratory of oppression. It could not be clearer. Chen Quanguo, the former Communist Party Secretary of the Tibet Autonomous Region, who oversaw the forced collection of Tibetan DNA samples, the abduction of our children into colonial boarding schools, was brought in 2016 to East Turkestan to use his experience oppressing generations of Tibetans to wreak genocide against the Uyghur people in their own homeland. Like they burned the mosques, they too set our monasteries ablaze. Like they forced Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps to eat pork and drink alcohol, they too forced at gunpoint our monks and nuns to have sex in the streets. The CCP looted our ancient shrines, shattered our holy objects, and melted down our sacred statues to murder 1 million Tibetans with bullets made from our own gods. The CCP named us Tibet Autonomous Region, Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. But the youth of Hong Kong can tell you what it truly means to live with genuine autonomy under the CCP. Because when stun grenades shattered the eardrums of students at Hong Kong Polytechnic University in 2019, so too was shattered the sickly porcelain pledge of genuine autonomy under the CCP. The actions of the CCP over the past 75 years against Tibetans, Uyghurs, Hong Kongers, Taiwanese, Mongolians, and now against the Chinese people themselves have provided irrefutable proof that genuine autonomy, the respect of fundamental human rights, is wholly incompatible with the existence of the CCP. Yeah. And that the guarantee of these inalienable rights is only possible when the CCP no longer exists upon this earth. I think often about our martyrs, those who came before us, those Tibetans who lit themselves on fire in self-immolation because they believed that their bodies would be a better use to the pursuit of freedom in death than in life. Those Chinese students in 1989 who occupied Tiananmen Square until the CCP ordered tanks to run over their mangled bodies so many times that their remains were fine enough to be washed down the sewers with fire hoses. Those Uyghur families who, last week, already shattered by the internment of fathers, brothers, sisters, and mothers, burned in that apartment building, while the CCP shrank behind the callous excuses of zero COVID policies. But this week, for the first time, I thought about how, as those martyrs gasped for their final breaths, they could have never imagined how today their lives breathe oxygen into a coalition, a constellation of all those peoples colonized, oppressed by the CCP, fueled by the stories and the memories, the synchronized rising and falling of their chests of our martyrs that culminates in this movement. Today, we realize that our martyrs are all quilted side by side in this tessellated tapestry of collective history. Today, we realize that this is a struggle in solidarity toward our collective liberation. We have endured far too much to lay idly by. For none of us are truly free until we all are. None of us are truly free until the CCP falls. Because it is with the invincible breath of truth given to us by all of those who have come before and all of those who are around us now, that we stand and sit shoulder to shoulder to fight for our freedom. Thank you. Bring it all.
Thank you, Topjoy, for those incredibly powerful words and reminding us of the importance of using our privilege for those who do not have the same freedoms, the freedoms we cherish so much. Thank you. Now we will be moving on to Alfadar from Uyghur American Association.
让我们欢迎美籍维吾尔人协会的奥菲德尔发言。
Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Someone was asking what happened to your feet. I said that's nothing. My heart has been bleeding for years. And we all have that. Today we're here standing together in solidarity to tell the world that we will not stop until we all are free. We all have at least one thing in common, and that is we've been oppressed by Chinese Communist Party. And at least we have one common goal, and that is end the occupation and get our freedom. I would like to talk about what's going on in my homeland recently. Uyghur Americans in the diaspora are mourning with heavy pain for the loss of lives in the Urumqi fire on November 24, 2022. In these darkest days in the history of Uyghurs, the diaspora in Washington, D.C., New York, Boston, and Los Angeles, and all around the world, held protests against the CCP's brutal COVID lockdowns that cost thousands of lives in the tragic fire and left many Uyghurs without food and medical care in the last 3 months, amid ongoing genocide that has already killed countless innocent Uyghurs. Many Uyghurs have been starving for more than 100 days. Under the guise of COVID lockdown in East Turkestan, the CCP's COVID policy is responsible for the tragedy in Urumqi on November 24th, because Uyghurs in the building couldn't escape as their doors are sealed shut. Emergency exit door was locked and the streets were blocked, preventing fire trucks to get closer. The Chinese state media's typical cover-up of the tragedy by reducing the number of deaths to 10 and blaming it on the residents' inability. These angered us, angered all Uyghurs, angered all Chinese, angered all people that are oppressed by China, causing protests in the Uyghur region, across China, and also around the world. This tragedy comes on top of an ongoing genocide Uyghur people have been suffering from since at least 2016-17. Millions of Uyghurs have been detained, indoctrinated, and tortured in prisons, concentration camps, and forced labor camps. In the last 3 months, the government turned the remaining Uyghurs' own homes into prisons, locking them up and depriving them of food and medical care. We hope this tragedy marks the beginning of the end of the CCP's rule in East Turkestan, in Taiwan, in Hong Kong, in Tibet, in Inner Mongolia, and in China. As we mourn our family members who were burned alive in the Urumqi fire, we stand with the Uyghurs and Chinese and all our allies who called for Xi Jinping to step down and for liberation of China and our homeland. And we need to unite in our fight against the tyrannical communist regime with everyone who is defending their God-given rights and freedom until we all are free. The Uyghur Americans implore the United States government and the government of the free world to hold the Chinese government accountable for its atrocities by imposing sanctions on the top Chinese officials responsible for loss of Uyghur lives and others, including the Xinjiang Communist Party's secretary, and pass a resolution at the United Nations condemning China's atrocities against Uyghur people. We would like to ask the leaders of the free world to meet with the numbers of the Uyghurs in diaspora to listen to our pain and share our hopes for our future, as well as express their condemnation of the CCP's genocide and crimes against humanity. Thank you so much. Please pray for Uyghurs. And we would like to chant. Stop the Uyghur genocide!
Stop the Uyghur genocide!
Stop the Uyghur genocide!
Stop the Uyghur genocide!
China closed the concentration camps!
China closed the concentration camps!
China closed the concentration camps!
China closed the concentration camps!
We want freedom!
We want freedom!
We want freedom!
We want freedom!
We want justice!
We want justice!
We want justice!
We want justice!
Stop the brutal lockdown!
Stop the brutal lockdown!
Stop the brutal lockdown!
Stop the brutal lockdown!
Release our brothers!
Release our brothers!
Release our sisters!
Release our sisters!
Release our parents!
Release our parents!
China closed the concentration camps!
China closed the concentration camps!
China closed the concentration camps!
China closed the concentration camps!
Freedom for Uyghurs!
Freedom for Uyghurs!
Freedom for Uyghurs!
Freedom for Uyghurs!
Freedom for Tibet!
Freedom for Tibet!
Freedom for Tibet!
Freedom for Tibet!
Freedom for Hong Kong!
Freedom for Hong Kong!
Freedom for Hong Kong!
Freedom for Hong Kong!
Freedom for Taiwan!
Freedom for Taiwan!
Freedom for Taiwan!
Freedom for Taiwan!
Freedom for Inner Mongolia!
Freedom for Inner Mongolia!
Freedom for Inner Mongolia!
Freedom for Inner Mongolia!
Freedom for China!
Freedom for China!
Freedom for China!
Freedom for China!
Terrorist Xi Jinping!
Terrorist Xi Jinping!
Terrorist Xi Jinping!
Terrorist Xi Jinping!
Terrorist CCP!
Terrorist CCP!
Terrorist CCP!
Terrorist CCP!
Thank you so much.
要自由，要自由，
要自由！
不要核酸要吃饭，
不要核酸要吃饭，
不做奴隶做公民，
不做奴隶做公民，
不要领袖要选票，
不要领袖要选票，
要自由，
要自由，
要自由，
要自由！
习近平，
习近平
下台，
下台！
习近平，
下台！
习近平，
下台！
习近平，
下台！
习近平，
下台！
共产党，
下台！
共产党，
下台！
共产党，
下台！
共产党，
下台！
共产党，
下台！
共产党，
下台！
要自由，
要自由！
要自由，
要自由！
要自由，
要自由！
要自由，
要自由！
光復香港，
光復香港！
時代革命，
時代革命！
光復香港，
光復香港！
時代革命，
時代革命！
沒有暴徒，
沒有暴徒！
只有暴政，
只有暴政！
沒有暴徒，
沒有暴徒！
只有暴政，
只有暴政！
沒有暴徒，
沒有暴徒！
只有暴政，
只有暴政！
沒有暴徒，
沒有暴徒！
只有暴政，
只有暴政！
不做奴隸做公民，
不做奴隸做公民，
不做奴隸做公民，
不做奴隸做公民。
謝謝大家。
Thank you. And next we have an anonymous protester from Hong Kong who will be sharing some words.
接下来有请香港的手足发言。
Hi everyone, I'm Tommy. I'm one of the Hong Konger who immigrate, which have to leave Hong Kong. So back to 2019, I was a student, and that time I have to protest because I think that's our duty to protest, like everyone here. I think being here is our duty to make our democracy, to make people have free. So nowadays what happened in China, we can see is similar to Hong Kong. I would say, as a Hong Konger, I would say we share the same hopeless, sadness, and powerless. That's with us the same. And I think, as a Hong Konger, I would say we stand with all of the Chinese people who support democracy and freedom. And what happened in China is really similar to Hong Kong students. Like the university students have some speech, and then they group themselves together to protest together. So it reminds me back to the Hong Kong. More of my friends has been arrested, and then they got they are like losing their future. And we are in American, so I think the thing is what is next things we can do. As for Hong Kong people in Hong Kong, I think we got NY4HK, we got some activity to share our culture, and we have HKDC to do the lobbying. So we also have Lion Walk Cafe to share our art, our music. So I think what the next thing Chinese can do is to make ourselves stronger and stronger and link ourselves together. Thank you.
光復香港，光復香港，
時代革命，
時代革命。
All right, coming up next is a Uyghur activist who will be reading aloud the names of the Urumqi victims. It is important to note, however, that this is an incomplete list based solely on the information we've been able to access outside of China, outside of East Turkestan, outside of Tibet. This lack of reliable information speaks to the draconian repression of information and the media black hole under Chinese rule. What we do know is primarily from courageous voices who have shared the little info they have. So even in the face of such severe repression, it's evidence that we are strongest together when we work together collectively towards justice.
现在会请一位维吾尔人的活动家念出在乌鲁木齐遇害者的名字，然后大家都知道这是一份不完整的名单，因为目前中国信息不自由的问题，所以现在有请。
My name is Ankar Uyghur. Everyone please join me in remembering the victims of the Urumqi fire that died needlessly because of the CCP's zero COVID policy. Khamar Nisahan Abdurrahman, 47 years old. Shahida Ali, 13 years old. Abdurrahman Ali, 11 years old. Imran Ali, 9 years old. Nahidia Ali, just 5 years old. Bahadur, and many other individuals. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Hi, my fellow protesters and revolutionaries. Today we rally here not only to commemorate those who were killed by the Chinese Communist Party in the Chinese Communist Party occupied territories, but also to form a united reverse front against the CCP itself, in an effort to seek the liberation of all unjustly persecuted thereby. During these trying times, we, the minorities, the feminists, the unionists, the socialists, the people with disabilities, the independentists, and the self-determinationists, people who commit to building a fair and just society with equality and dignity for all, are very much without any representation or visibility in the movement, while those who share a value that not so unlike the CCP itself are actively trying to dominate and undermine our voices and narratives, dissolving our hard-fought and unique intersectional identity and solidarity. This is the reason that I wish to form a new opposing organization representing the ideas that we share in an effort to promote them, to make our voice heard, and to secure that after the CCP's eventual fall, our new democratic nations will not be resorting to the greater human rights crisis. I know all of you are tired of demands and promises, but I'd rather not to bore you with them either. But know that the more we demand, the more we speak up, the more empowered we will be, and the more terrified the CCP will be. So, as a party in opposition, we strive to enforce the protection of our constitutional rights, such as freedom of speech, press, information, education, and unionization, to end the selective and discriminatory law enforcement and judicial system of the CCP, and to promote one with impartiality, independence, and autonomy. To establish the infrastructures of electoral, judicial, and governmental transparency and accountability in order to promote justice and equity via procedures rather than faith in a particular entity. To nationalize the police, the military, the scientific institutions, the civilian NGOs, the independently operated churches, and all other critical infrastructures contributing to our society previously controlled exclusively by the CCP. To fairly account and try the officials, cooperators, and appeasers of the CCP and their subsidiary institutions such as the police and the military forces and the party-controlled corporations. To remedy the atrocities committed by the CCP such as the harsh COVID policy, the suppression of unionization, the denial of citizens' right to representation, the incarceration of dissidents and their advocates, the stigmatization of followers of independent religions, the Uyghur concentration camps, and the private prison holding the gender and racial minorities. To disband the secret police, to reduce the size of the CCP's army, and to implement a nuclear armament reduction, to promote regional self-governing and determination, to establish a confederation of former communist Chinese states, and to foster a friendly international relation of mutual aid and protection with the said states such as the Free Hong Kong, Free Macau, Free Tibet, Free Uzbekistan, Free Occupied Mongolia, and all other states legitimately declaring independence. To defend the rights and equal treatment of the disadvantaged communities such as racial and gender minorities, people with disabilities, and to promote feminism, anti-ableism, and destigmatization of the legal protections thereto. To unionize the persecuted students, workers, and unemployed population for fair treatment and accommodations. To establish an effective and non-discriminatory social security and safety system. To reform the education system. To previously party-controlled press and the institutions of higher studies, promoting a humanitarian values and academic autonomy, and much more that we strive all in common cause. I wish to invite all of you who support our value and ideology to reach out and contribute to our common cause immediately. Those who have expertise in political science and philosophy and jurisprudence, please help us to formulate our charters and our promises. Those who have connection with friendly local governments, legislatures, NGOs, please help us to raise awareness. Those who have experience in activism feminism, please help us organize more rallies like this one. For the well-being of everyone who shares our ideology and currently or previously persecuted by the CCP, please act now before it's too late and reach us to come to us. My dearest fellow protesters and revolutionaries, we are in the center of the battlefield, and it's our civic duty to win. And this is our war chance. 我们都是弱势群体 We belong to the disadvantaged groups. 女权就是平权 Feminism is equality. 酷儿解放就是全人类的解放 The liberation of pure population is the liberation of all humanity. Yeah, and also to all the neurodivergent, all people with limited mobility, dyslexic, dyspraxic, all people with disability, I see you, and you are visible to all of us. 不要皇帝，要总统 Remove the emperor, elect our president. 不要人大，要立院 Disband the rubber stamping people's Congress, elect our parliaments. 不要中国要解体 Disintegrate the empire for self-governing. 不要中央要自觉 Dissolve the central government for self-determination. 不当反贼，当反对党 Be not mere rebels, but parties in opposition. 中共才是境外势力 The CCP is the foreign power. 我们才是人民 We are the real citizen. 打倒小塞斯库 Remove Ceausescu. 共审中共法西斯 Try the CCP fascists. And as a final remark, I would like to update you of news from our front line. A very good news in the occupation zone. The fascists against our cause are homophobic in the very literal sense. They are afraid of homosexual couples. Few days ago, the secret police captured 2 of our protesters in Shanghai who are in a same-gender relationship. When they kissed publicly on the coach and transports them, the secret police was terrified and they both returned swiftly, and our protesters returned to us swiftly and safely short after. So spread the word, my fellow protesters and revolutionaries. They fear not the public trials, but our stick with love, affection, and solidarity. To those captured on the front line, find a peer close to you with the same gender expression as yourself and kiss them. I'm Yu Tangzhang with the All Occupation Zone Democratic Progressive Party, and thank you all for being here today.
Okay, guys, can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're all cold and we're shivering, and there's scientific evidence that says when you yell, you get warm. I don't know. I just made that up. But I want you to come closer, and chant after me. Okay? We're wrapping up. I promise. So we will start with end COVID lockdown. End COVID lockdown. End COVID lockdown! End COVID lockdown! End COVID lockdown! I wanna jump up and down. We can do that so you know warm up. Let's go. End COVID lockdown! End COVID lockdown! End COVID lockdown! End COVID lockdown! End Uyghur genocide! End Uyghur genocide! End Uyghur genocide! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Taiwan! Free Taiwan! Free Taiwan! Free Taiwan! Free Taiwan! Free Taiwan! Release the protesters! Release the protesters! Release the protesters! Release the protesters! Release the protesters! Okay, right now we're actually gonna have some chants in Uyghur which is the Uyghur language. And yeah, we'll go with that. So listen to our best. Yeah. Uygurlara erkinlik! Uygurlara erkinlik! Uygurlara erkinlik! Uygurlara erkinlik! Uygurlara adalet! Uygurlara adalet! Uygurlara adalet! Şarkı Türkistan'a erkinlik! Şarkı Türkistan'a erkinlik! Şarkı Türkistan'a erkinlik! Şarkı
Xi Jinping! Yok olsun Xitay tecavüzcüleri! Yok olsun Xitay tecavüzcüleri! Tibet'e erkinlik! Tibet'e erkinlik! Hong Kong'a erkinlik! Hong Kong'a erkinlik! Tayvan'ga erkinlik! Tayvan'ga erkinlik! İçki Mongoliyaga erkinlik! İçki Mongoliyaga erkinlik! Lagerlar takalsın! Lagerlar takalsın! Qeyrindaşlarımız koybitilsin! Qeyrindaşlarımız koybitilsin! Uygurlarga erkinlik! Uygurlarga erkinlik! Uygurlarga adalet! Uygurlarga adalet! Uygurlarga mustaqillik! Uygurlarga mustaqillik!
I just want to remind everyone that we have heroes among us. We have heroes among us. So, we have here Tursunul Zaydun, who is a survivor of the camps. So if anyone is doubting the genocide of the Uyghurs, if anyone is doubting the concentration camps that have been ongoing for years, we have with us a survivor and a hero. And she stands right here. So let's do a last round of English chants, and then I'll give it back to Alex. So let's say it. End Uyghur genocide! End Uyghur genocide! End Uyghur genocide! End Uyghur genocide! Free East Turkestan! Free East Turkestan! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Inner Mongolia! Free Mongolia! Free Taiwan! Free Taiwan! Thank you, everyone.
All right, hello. So to wrap up, we have a couple of lyric sheets that have been passed out. We will be singing "Do You Hear the People Sing" and the Chinese version of the Internationale. If you did not get a sheet, please forgive us. We only had so much paper.
You can download it right now.
You can take it up on your phones, and then this will be closing out.
We give you like 30 seconds. Please get your phone.
To stall for time for y'all to get the lyric sheets, I want to thank every one of our volunteers that showed up today. Thank you to all our marshals who are wearing our yellow vests. Thank you for all the people that have participated in this multilingual, multi-ethnic, multinational protest in solidarity against the CCP. Thank you for all of the people that attended here today. Thank you to the legal observers that attended today. Thank you to the reporters who are amplifying our message. Thank you to everybody who yelled along, who shouted our slogans, who showed up with a sign and decided to bring your energy today on this Sunday afternoon. Oh God, it's Sunday. Thank you, and we hope to see you all again.
We will do a group picture after the singing. So later on, you stay after singing, and then we'll do a group picture. Reporter can go to the other side, and we'll turn around. Later, I will listen to me later. Not now. We're going to sing first, okay?
Sing the song of angry men. It is the news of the people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes. Will you join in our crusade? Who will be strong and stand with me? Beyond the barricade, is there a world you long to see? Then join in the fight that will give you the right to be free. Do you hear the people sing the song of angry men? It is the music of the people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drum, there is a light above the sun when tomorrow comes. So
何学习。对啊。
There's another one.
Okay, everybody, if you have a camera in your hand and you need to take a picture, please make your way over this way. Everybody with the flag, please come in. We're going to turn around, face the arch, and then take a group picture. If you do not want to be in a picture, please turn around. 唔該各位過嚟行入埋啲，我哋一齊影幅相。Jesus Christ！如果有記者想照相的話，請走過來這邊，我們再反過來面對你們。
When we take a picture, you just turn around. So, reporter going that side. This is the background. So you all need to get closer. Get closer. Turn around. You turn around facing that side. Cameraman, please stand by or standing. The guy with the scarf there. If you want to take a picture, yeah. Please come closer here. Come closer here. Come closer. I need the flag over there. Please come down here. Please.
请大家过来这边，然后有相机的朋友过来这边。Please make your way over this way. We'll take a good picture and then we'll resume the music. 之后还有歌会要放，请大家过来这边。Oh my God, will you please? Hurry up, please. Come on.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good. You can do that too. Come on. Okay.
All right, everybody face this way with the arch in our background. Arch 就在我们的后面。 大家请过来。We'll have more music afterwards.
Is it okay? Everyone can the cameraman tell me, is it good?
Yeah. Good.
Just let us this flag 1 second.
Wait, and raise the hand. 2, 3.
No.
One more time. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for coming.
I'm very skeptical of